What is up, you guys? In today's video, I'm going to give you 10 skills that you need to develop in order to double your woodworking business this year in 2025. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back as always. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that just so you can get notified anytime that we drop some new helpful content that's going to help you with the business side of your woodworking business. So in today's video, I want to walk you through 10 skills that you need to develop in order to double your business this year in 2025. The best thing that you can do in a video like this is not just watch it, consume it, but actually reflect and figure out what are the big weaknesses that I have and what are the things that I really need to work on. And as we wrap this video up, I'm going to give you some advice on how to improve on these weaknesses, because a lot of times just some small incremental improvements on our biggest weaknesses can dramatically change the size and scale of our business, right? So I'm going to move quickly. The number one skill that I would encourage you to probably get better at in order to double your woodworking business this year is sales. Sales is a skill. A lot of people don't view sales as a skill. They just think it's something that they're either going to buy or they're not. But you actually can develop skills around leading people to the right answer, right? Or if they have objections or they have things that don't make sense to them, how do we pull those objections out of people? Because a lot of times people will be so polite that they won't tell you that it's too expensive. They won't tell you that the lead times are too long. They won't tell you that they really want to do something else here or there, but they don't want to actually address it, right? So how do we improve our sales skills so that we can actually get to the root of the issue of why they're not buying, and we can solve that problem? Because when we solve all the objections, we make it easy for customers to buy, right? So number one is sales. Number two is negotiating. A lot of people may say, well, this is the exact same thing as sales, but it's not. This is really the really small portion right before you either get the sale or you don't get the sale, where you've pulled out the objections and you are working with the customer in order to come to an agreed upon conclusion. You're going to be negotiating on price. You're going to be negotiating on lead times. You're going to be negotiating on other small things here and there to put the deal together in order to get the deposit, to get the sale for your business, right? And let me just say, if you cannot close deals, if you cannot sell, you cannot make money, right? You have to be able to actually get a yes from the client. And if you cannot get a yes from the client, then you cannot collect cash. Therefore, you cannot keep running a business. Cash is the oxygen that keeps a business alive, right? So we need to make sure that we are good at sales and we're good at negotiating, right? I will even add this to it. When it comes to negotiation, you need to make sure that you're pricing your products and pricing your services in a way that you give yourself a little bit of room to negotiate. So if you need to make $1,500, price it at $1,800. And if they come in at $1,300, you have a little bit of room to negotiate. There's a lot of guys out there, they say the price is the price. By golly, that's what it is. Well, that's fine, but they're losing deals because they aren't negotiating and meeting customers somewhere in the middle, right? So that's number two. Number three is your follow-up game. How well do you follow up with clients? One of the biggest challenges that we see inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program is that some guys don't establish follow-up rhythms, right? And so I was actually bringing this teaching to all of the guys inside of the program. I was explaining with follow-up, you have this thing called follow-up. Well, about 20% of it is skill. Actually, what do I say? How do I say it? But then the other 80% is discipline. Do I have the discipline to actually follow up? Because let me just encourage you and challenge you a little bit. Very rarely are you going to immediately talk to somebody, give them a quote, and they're going to give you a credit card. There's going to be a process attached to it. They're going to have to measure. They're going to have to see stain samples. They're going to have to visit with their wife or visit with their husband about it, right? So our ability to just keep that lead in the back of our mind and touch base with them 3 days from now or 5 days from now or tomorrow. Hey, I'm going to visit with my wife about it tonight. I'm going to visit with my husband about it tonight. Awesome. If I don't hear from you by noon tomorrow, is it okay if I just touch base? That's really important, okay? So number three is follow-up. Number four is bookkeeping, aka managing your finances and your cash flow. This is one of the things that is a silent killer in business. When the cash dries up, the business dries up, right? If I'm not managing the finances actively and I don't understand how to do it, that's going to be a huge challenge for me, okay? I'm going to keep moving quickly here. Number five is organization. Are you organized in general? So there's different ways of we can look at organization. Is the shop organized? Are the tools organized? Is my communication with clients and leads organized? Are the books organized? You may be listening to this and be like, yeah, that's me. That's my problem, is I am not organized, right? And what we tend to find is guys that work slower are more organized, and guys that work really fast are more disorganized. So if you're a fast working, hard working guy, you got to find those rhythms where you can work organization into your business, okay? Number six is planning. Planning for the future, planning production, planning to order materials, planning on how you're going to get new leads next month, planning on where you're going to take the business, right? You have to have some vision, you have to be able to plan. This also ties into another one later on, but planning is super important. Now, if you are really good at all these things, what you're probably going to be running into now is hiring. If you're really good at those things and you figure out how to scale a business, you're good at sales, negotiation, follow-up, bookkeeping, then you got to figure out, how do I hire great employees? Okay, so number 7 is hiring. And there's some really clear processes that make this a more simple thing. Now, the number one thing that I would tell you if you're struggling to hire good help is quit just interviewing one guy. What we always did that really helped us find the best employees that stayed with us for a long time was that we would try to interview 8 to 10 guys at a time. And when you do that, you're going to really be able to weigh them all against each other, as opposed to like, I'm freaking out, I need help, or we're not going to be able to get stuff done. So this guy came to the interview, so I'm just going to throw him in there. You don't necessarily want to do that. You want to interview multiple guys. You want to be able to find the top 1, 2, or 3 performers and give them an opportunity, because you can weigh them against everybody else, right? So hiring is super important. Number 8 is training your employees. This is another big thing that we see inside of the program. Everybody that we visit with is, I just can't get good help. They're always messing stuff up, right? Here's the deal. No one's going to care about your business on the same level that you're going to care about your business. If you can't expect to pay somebody 12 or 15 bucks an hour and expect them to be as fired up and excited about your business as you are as the owner, right? So with that, you have to support them with systems and training. They need to know what success looks like and what failure looks like. If they have a task, they need to know what that task done up to your standard is and what that task not up to your standard is, right? So make sure that you're training new employees on the standard of success and what that looks like for them in their role. Okay, I got 2 more for you. Number 9 is photography and videography. The number one barrier for a lot of you guys out there from scaling and growing your woodworking business is you just got to learn how to get better photos. That's it. You got to get better photos. You got to have better lighting. You need to have a better environment to take your photos. You need to get video. You need to be more active on social media. You need to start promoting your product more. Nobody else is going to promote it. You've got to promote it. And you can promote it without being arrogant. Hey, check this out. We just got done with this. We love this project. If you are interested in anything like this, be sure to reach out so I can get you a custom quote. But you got to start with photo and video. We're in an incredibly visual industry. And if you don't have great photos and videos, your competitor does, and all your potential clients are going to them. That's number 9. And then the last one here, number 10, is vision for your business, aka developing your brand. If you don't have vision for where you want to go, you can't reverse engineer that to what I have to do today. I have to know where I'm wanting to take the business so that I can break that down into daily actions, and so that my daily actions can build upon each other to actually lead me to where I'm trying to go. And here's the deal, guys. You're going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That is what business is in general. There's some days that I get to the end of the day and I just go, well, let's go to bed and let's try this again tomorrow, right? Because some days just don't go according to plan. You get kicked in the head, punched in the mouth. Some days business wins and some days I win. But the goal is to always be moving forward. And the only way I can do that is when I set really clear vision for where I want to take the business. So if you can look at these things and you can say, what are my 3 biggest weaknesses right now? So let's look at these 10 things and let's figure out of these 10 things, what are the 3 biggest weaknesses that I have? I'm going to do this quickly. Number 1, sales. 2, negotiation. 3, follow-up. 4, managing finances. 5, organization. 6, planning. 7, hiring. 8, training. 9, photography and videography. And number 10, vision for the future and brand development. What are your 3 biggest weaknesses? And then start learning everything you can learn around those things, right? Don't just lean on me and my expertise or my knowledge, but if sales is a big problem for you, there are tons of great sales trainers all over YouTube you should be checking out. If organization is a big challenge for you, there are tons of great resources online showing you how to get more organized with different parts of your business, right? If you can do these things, what you'll find is you'll see your sales and your ability to produce more goods increase dramatically. So with this being said, if you're really trying to grow your woodworking business, I got some resources for you below. Number 1, I've got my free ebook. Doesn't cost you anything to download it. It's totally free to you. It's the first link in the description below. Be sure to check that out. Number 2 is the Handmade Hero Academy program. This is for brand new beginners that are trying to really get to that $3,000 to $5,000 per month consistently mark inside of their woodworking business. Be sure to check out the Handmade Hero Academy. And lastly is if you're really trying to scale your woodworking business, be sure to check out the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. So with that being said, guys, love and appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.